Hey everyone, I'm sorry for disappearing like that. I was just... For real though, hi everyone. Long time no me make video for you. I have a lot of excuses, but at some point it doesn't matter. So I'll give you one. I have a new son. His name is Osha. He's a bit of a nightmare, but we love him. Here's another picture. Is he cute enough for you to forgive me? The way I figure, I owe you a video, if not multiple. So we're going to do a multi-topic video today where we quickly cover a few of the bigger events that happened this August. We'll just headline them, go over what happened. We'll try to quickly but efficiently find some positive takeaway from it. And then you'll forgive me. And yeah, I'm going to prioritize our usual find a positive takeaway thing because even though a lot happened this month and it feels like a lot of just noise, I'm not giving up on you yet, August. Remember Twitter? That was cool. It's still here, but it's just wrapped up in a gross, slimy cocoon called X. The Everything app. No, but the platform is very overrun by just the worst people you know. The energy just feels like the worst parts of 4chan and Reddit had a baby. So we got a good image of what it is, right? It's just unchecked and a little disgusting. And Brazil thinks so too. The Brazilian government reached out to whatever's left of Twitter and asked them to take down 7 specific accounts that were posting propaganda, fake electoral rumors, political subterfuge, you could argue. And again, at this point, this is a regular Tuesday for the platform, but still, Brazil reached out to Elon and was like, can we take care of this? But Elon, who himself has engaged in a bit of political egging, we'll call it coup-soaking, defiantly stood up against Brazil and said, no, I believe in free speech, and that includes these people. You aren't getting anyone banned. What a noble and selfless hero. As anyone could probably guess, Brazil didn't love that and threatened to take down access to the Twitter server for their whole country. And Elon was too proud and stubborn. I was going to say and or, but it's and. Too stubborn to look like he was going back on his word, so he didn't do anything. And, well, that's not true. What Elon did decide to do was paint the whole thing as like a necessary sacrifice he had to make for free speech. And he included like weird threatening AI images of the judge like locked behind bars, which should not really be the actions a corporate leader takes. Also, yes, it was disturbing because it's AI. It was very broken. But he was proudly retweeting these confidential documents. But it included the names of the 7 people Brazil wanted banned. So we all know which accounts caused this. We also know their legal names because it's a court order. So I don't know what he thought he was going to accomplish with this. But Elon, supported by his weird cult of fans who think he's Iron Man, allowed the deadline to pass and Brazil was taken away from Twitter. I meant to say it the other way around. I will say though, I think Brazil gets the last laugh here because, I don't know if you know, but it's huge. Turns out they were ranked 3rd in the size of the user base for the platform. So with all those people gone, the platform is now going to suffer. And of course, Elon tried to go back on his word and low-key kind of like continue discussions because his investors probably yelled at him. He was also trying to garner support by posting a bunch of memes about it, which just screams maturity. You know what I mean? That's a cool dude. And it's true that this does mean that we lost a lot of creative and entertaining accounts that were run by Brazilian people that are just inactive now. You could argue that taking away access to like a shared cultural internet conversation goes against something, some sort of right. The right to free... It'll come to me. I wish those account creators good luck on whatever platform they go to, but I'm gonna stay here and keep watching this burn. You know, from the theme park, the iconography, the animated kids movies. But did you know that they don't care if you live or die. I mean, I think we all kind of subconsciously knew that, but now they're doing it in practice. Someone filed a lawsuit against Disney over the charge of wrongful death. He and his wife were eating at one of the restaurants, and his wife brought up her dietary restrictions. And instead of adhering to it, they gave her the dish as standard, and she had an allergic reaction and died. And you'd think, hey, Disney could probably afford that. They are a monopolizing corporation that prints money. They can probably help this guy out. But apparently Disney has been anticipating this happening someday because they had a legal loophole all ready to go. They claimed that since the man and his wife had tried the free trial for Disney Plus to stream their content, he had signed a clause that was buried in the terms and conditions, absolving the company for the event of any tragedy. And I think we all know those terms and agreement packages are pretty shifty, right? There's a joke how nobody reads them and the company could probably get away with anything. There's sometimes hundreds of pages, like you don't know what's buried in there. Even if you read through it, you probably couldn't find anything specific. But because this couple used the free trial, not even the full version, they tried it for 1 month, and even so, Disney is claiming that legally this holds up and they do not have to be involved with this, which thankfully everyone kind of agreed was pretty shitty. Nobody could really defend Disney's actions here. It's just right there. It's corporate, it's slimy, it's like legal manipulation. It just looks bad. And that negative backlash was such a bad PR moment for them that Disney actually withdrew their claim to escape any legal repercussions, saying, "We here at Disney love life. We care about families. We love you all so much. Kiss, kiss." And hopefully this will help some people wake up and be more attentive towards the company, knowing that they're capable of doing this. But if you've ever seen a Disney thing already, I guess it's too late. Have you ever revisited one of their movies in the past year? Well, turns out a satellite could fall on you, and if it was on Disney property, they don't gotta pay your family anything. Oh, you watched Dumbo? You saw Enchanted? You watched a few episodes of Daredevil? Well, we here at Disney hope you enjoyed them. Also, it's not very likely that anyone at Disney has any remorse over this, because they already have been making jokes about it.
Cinderpool was late because he had to read every single page in the terms and conditions when he signed up for Disney Plus. I don't get it. Yeah, they do.
I don't care how meta or ironic your comedy is. I don't want some bootlicker in a costume joking about my death. Hi everyone, sorry about the sudden format change, but this video is going to take me more than 1 day to film because so much happened, and we're going to cover it anyway because we got to stay on that grind set. So, fuck my life. Chapel Roan is a pop star on the rise right now who it's just, I'm going to put it right there, 100% deserved. I'm a casual fan. I know 3 or 4 of her songs, but it doesn't take like a diehard fan to tell you that she absolutely has the talent to put her in the spot where she is right now. There has been something of a resurgence in pop music recently, and Chapel is part of that new wave, except her music stands out because it is from a place of rage. If you were trying to lightly shade her, you would say that she's brash, but I think that's a good thing. And you can tell that she's not putting on a performance there. Like, off stage and in interviews, she very much maintains that her person is just someone who's strong and not willing to take any shit. She also brings this energy when interacting with fans, which is good and smart, but it might come across as, I don't know why I'm dancing around this. Let's dive into the shit. Like I said, Chapel's seeing an astronomical rise. She's been making music for a while, but it's really caught on, and she's getting a lot of the attention she deserves. And it leads to venues looking, a little packed. But don't let anyone ever tell you that attention is unequivocally a positive thing, because even though Chappell was speedrunning the climb to fame, she was also speedrunning the interactions with people becoming obsessive. In a video that she shared on all of her platforms, she set boundaries, basically saying she doesn't like what she's seeing from fans who are following her, trying to find out where she lives, contacting her family and friends, you know. And Chappell, being herself, faced it head on. She was like, thanks for being a fan. You don't get to do this. You don't have access to that side of me. And I agree with her. She's making art and music for fans. And for the fans to take that and then actively seek out more, to me, that feels disrespectful. So Chappell makes this direct statement that celebrities don't normally put off. And to a lot of people, they didn't like that. And it seemed ungrateful. A lot of people read this as Chappell rejecting admiration, or saying that because no one else really complains about this, she just can't really handle the level of fame that she's at. Do I have examples to read you? I sure do. I was just trying to put it off because they make me sad. Why doesn't she just dye her hair back natural and have a red wig she uses for performances? If you want to be an entertainer, you kind of have to learn how to exist in public under the radar and not make it everyone else's problem even if they are being rude. I kind of think she's not really cut out to be a pop girly. Love Chappell, but my belief is that if you become a pop star, you're not really supposed to show this kind of weakness. If you really hate the attention, just do what Lorde did and live a very, very private life, which is admirable. Don't go crying on TikTok. Lorde, please take Chappell Roan's fame and give it to Addison Rae. I know Chappell want to get back to being a fake lesbian and watching Drag Race. Alright. I like her music a lot, but I fear she's chosen the wrong career. I'm not blaming her at all, and the way people stalk celebrities is insane and shouldn't be tolerated. However, hating on regular fans who happen to run into you and simply ask for a picture just to say hi? She would never complain about fame. This is the second, Addison Rae tweet. What is going on? I took a picture with you. You mad? At Chappell Roan. If you don't like Chappell because of her music, that's fine. That's an opinion. If you don't like her because of how she acts, just listen to her music. That's fine. That's how you treat most celebrities, I think. But if you are basing your decision to dislike someone purely on the event of them setting boundaries and telling you what they are and are not comfortable with, that, I think, is the problem. It's people reacting badly to being told no. So enough people interpret this as, a betrayal to make a big enough discussion about it, to the point where Chappell notices and clarifies. Again, she does not mince words or leave much room for subtlety. She's direct in what she says, and it's a good response. But people didn't react great to the first authentic response, so this prompted more of the same. Chappell Roan might be a persona, a celebrity, but there's still a human in there. And harassing a human, this just feels like an easy one to me. Someone tells you their boundaries and you either accept it or move on. There's no option C for complaining. It's very easy to idolize public figures and assume that they're so beyond you that your actions could not affect them. But I think that's an excuse that people can take and run too far with. It's frustrating to see people react so negatively to boundaries, essentially, but the good news is that a lot of these fan accounts are likely on the younger side, and they probably have some growing up to do where they might realize the error in their reaction here. And a lot of her fans really reacted positively when Chappell sort of spoke her mind. And if her fans number in these amounts, then that's a lot of people who heard her and are respecting her wishes. That's a good thing. Don't take for granted the amount of power that you have as someone's audience, and don't abuse that privilege. Be respectful, be thankful, and everything will be okay. There's a whole construction crew just tearing down a building on my block. There's no way that it doesn't come through in the audio. Alright, well, that's going to be distracting at the least. Whoever is editing this, can you try and do some sound work and try to cut down on the noise out there? I'd appreciate it. Billionaire and child's book author J.K. Rowling, or as he's known under his pen name, Robert, has been increasingly transphobic online, which, I mean, there were plenty of depressing little Easter eggs in her writing that clued us into her transphobic beliefs, but recently she has only been writing terrible tweets that just confirm it.
Calling a man is not bullying or punching down. Cross-dressing straight men are currently one of the most pandered to demographics in existence, and women are under no obligation to applaud the people caricaturing us.
In fact, it was at the beginning of August, when the Olympics were wrapping up, that she was nonstop attacking the women's boxing athlete Imane Khalif, claiming that her masculine features were telltale signs of her being a boy and was cheating in the women's division in order to win. Not only is this immoral and dark behavior, but it's also incorrect. These people are so stuck in modern beauty standards, they think big buff equal boy, tiny petite equal woman. And in reality, there's so much in between. Like, these aren't the two types of people.
Why all the anger at the inspirational Petrillo? The cheat community has never had this kind of visibility. Out and proud cheats like Petrillo prove the end of cheat shaming is over. What a role model. I say we give Lance Armstrong his medals back and move on. Hashtag cheats. Hashtag no shame.
So everyone was getting pretty tired of hearing from her, because not only was she making a mountain out of a molehill, but she was being pretty annoying about it. Also because she always carried this air of superiority about her, as if she could always talk down to you if you disagreed with her.
I am actually sick of hearing the name J.K. Rowling. Who the f*** does she think she is? I think I'm J.K. Rowling. Who the fuck are you?
Well, this snootish behavior came to a dead stop when she decided to change her profile picture. It seems innocuous, but all of this extra attention directed at her led to some people catching something that probably would have otherwise gone unnoticed. People started joking that the black marks on JK's wallpaper was actually mold, and that she spends so much of her life yelling about women online that she didn't notice her entire world just being infested around her. They also joked that because she must have been just huffing mold fumes, that's what actually made her transphobic, and it was a brain-affected thing. And I could see some people hearing this and going, well, okay, we joked about a billionaire being infested. We might have joked about a billionaire being slowly poisoned by the dead walls. We might have joked about a billionaire being slowly poisoned by their crumbling. So we made jokes about this bad person being piloted by a fungal infestation. Like, that's cool, I guess, but it doesn't really seem like that big of a thing. Any time that an egomaniacal billionaire is cut down a peg is a win to me. She's abusing her privilege of power. She's dedicated her platform to yelling at people she doesn't know.
I don't own a gun, India, but I think there's a water pistol around in the house. Let's test this out. Meet you by the big IKEA.
That deserves some kind of consequence. And if we are unable to do anything against that kind of public position that she has, all we're left to target is their public image, which it turns out they often care a lot about. It's likely not mold. It's probably art of something. I'm sure. I think. It also does not help that there appears to be a paper trail that sort of confirms that this is growing. Growing does not help your mold accusations. And again, is any of this important? Debatable. But it was enough of a story to take off, make a bigot quiet for a few days, and force her to change her profile picture. She also changed it from this later. Couldn't tell you why. Creative decision-making, I'd guess. No amount of money or perceived power will exemplify you from shame. That's all I gotta say, I guess. Hi, I'm sorry this is the second or third format change you're gonna see. Hopefully it is the last one. I have a million A+ excuses, but again, nobody cares, so we're just gonna keep going. Grind set, whatever I said. MrBeast. If you haven't heard me talk about him, you've heard someone else do it. Put very plainly, he's the front runner of the platform. If every channel was YouTube's child, he would be the favorite. Something really specific about the tone of a MrBeast video is that it's not really supposed to be taken super seriously. Maybe it's the giant inflatable letters, or the explosions, or the bruh sound effect. They reflect sort of the standard of modern entertainment. Which I'm not going to say is sad. I refuse to sound old. But I do think it's important to go over what people expect. It's fun, punchy, fast spectacle. In August, an ex-employee of MrBeast came forward with an expose. On his own channel, he made a very long video detailing a lot of the specifics of what it's like to work for MrBeast behind the scenes. And it is not as fun as the videos make it seem. You should watch that video if you want to know the specifics, but basically, immoral, corrupt, and heartless would be a pretty good summary. MrBeast, who is, again, YouTube's first place, it was hard for a lot of people to digest the idea that MrBeast, the entertainer, could even do half of the things that this person was accusing him of. And that's the issue. It had the proof, it had the testimonies, it had the verified messages. Nobody was saying that's not real. They were instead arguing with the premise that MrBeast couldn't be as cool as he looks. I feel stupid saying this, but MrBeast is a character. Right, guys? And I do think a lot of these supporters, if they would slow down and consider the fact that this person might be different off camera, they'd understand it. But for whatever reason, that proved difficult. Maybe they were on the younger side of his audience. Maybe he's just that good with his editing, but people didn't even want to consider it. And so the ex-employee made a few more videos. If you ask me, one of these videos would be enough to deserve a response from MrBeast, but all of them together? He needed to say something yesterday. But instead of making any public statement, he filed a cease and desist against his old employee. And I'm not saying that makes him guilty, but it certainly didn't help the image. And so for the chunk of people who still needed some evidence to be swayed, this was what they were looking for. But still, a lot of people are defending Jimmy, whether because they actually believe in him or they don't want the image to be shattered. Either way, it's the same. And I do think it's a symptom of a larger problem of people believing these public figures to be the character they're portraying. That needs to be addressed, because if it continues the way it's been going, oh, fuck. And based completely on like the sheer number of people who are watching this, I hope a lot of them got to like resonate with that message. But we have more to go, basically. It is up to you the level of impact this story actually has, but as long as you remember just that rule about people and their performance, I think you're all set. Artificial intelligence was almost dead in the water. Like, we were right there. The public perception of this thing is pretty negative. We all kind of know that at its very best, it still looks kind of bad. AI, movies, are. And then there's no sound to this. It just looks like she's going. Even the people who mindlessly consume content saw that the memes made with AI were pretty unintelligible. You won't regret liking this picture, USA. And it looks like a soldier saying, Sorshigs? While their loving family behind her says, may God will protect us. Happy Veterans Day. Even OpenAI, one of the guiltiest contributors to the generative AI plague, says on their website, probably for financial reasons, that investing in OpenAI is a bit of a financial risk. Put money in this at your own peril. Bankrupt, no influence, looked down upon. I mean, it looked like it had nowhere to go. And then this happened.
It may fascinate you or scare you, or if you're like me, it may do both. So let's take a breath and find out more about it. I've gathered some of our country's leading experts to answer all of our questions. You have invented something that's going to help us invent everything else.
Yeah.
It's happening faster than you guys thought.
Absolutely.
How are we even supposed to know what is real and what isn't? AI and the future of us.
It turns out that our good friends Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia basically revived AI and are using Oprah as the image for its rehabilitation. They were rescued from bankruptcy with just a gross amount of money, and now they had a public figure whose audience sees her as some sort of saint, pretending to both sides the argument while really just giving it an extended commercial. The good news is that Oprah's stereotypical audience of middle-aged moms probably aren't going to invest in AI that much. I think they should have picked a different celebrity instead of going the philanthropist route. Like, even if people watch it and agree, what are they going to do with it? So yes, generative AI was likely on its deathbed, and this inflation of money has helped it get up. But I think the good news here is that it's likely going to take a step and then fall back onto the deathbed, and we just have to wait a little bit longer. I don't care what your f***ing glossy memes look like if it's all from stolen art and it dries up a river in order to generate. It's not worth it. F*** off. Let's just hope that AI isn't given this last opportunity to gamble on a new product. Segue into... My absolute favorite part of this is when it's looking at its own hands. It looks like it's saying, "Why am I here?" Well, no matter what happens, this will be the final section of the video. Either God, the universe, or the government has been trying to stop me because filming this thing has been a nightmare. And normally when something like this happens, I would just refilm, but it is halfway through September, and this video is already obsolete. I don't even know why I'm still working on it. So we're going to be done with it. So here we are at the end, and what can we learn from this video? Well, we basically learned that August was hard. And I learned by making this video that September is hard too. There's a shot that life is just hard and every month is going to be challenging, but instead of looking at the oncoming months and like worrying about what sort of new nightmares it'll throw at you, maybe it's better to focus on the months of the past that we know we've gotten through, the ones we've moved on from. All of this was in August, plus so much more. Us getting through that month is not nothing. Be proud of yourself for making it another month. Genuinely. Life can be so dangerous and stupid sometimes that the effort you put in order to just make it through the month should be acknowledged. Existing successfully is not nothing. And I hope if I can leave you with any sort of gift from August, it's the recognition that you made it through it. And if that's not enough of a gift, I do have a second one. One of the stories from August that I could have looked into and chose not to was Baby Gronk drops diss track on Rizzler and Costco guys. Whatever that is, we don't need to learn about it. Maybe there's a positive takeaway in that, maybe, but just never look into it. If you already know this, just try to wipe your memory. Life is too short for us to know what a Rizzler is. This is gonna be the quickest outro I've ever done. You ready? Thank you, patrons. Watch more videos. I'm elsewhere. Bye. Love you. Good luck with everything.